In this demo, we are going to be looking at using loops to traverse strings. So I'm going to start with the most common, the for loop. And when I write a for loop to traverse a string, so for example, let's come up with the string sample equals how are you feeling today? And I'm going to go through and just do something simple like counting the number of E's in the string, for example. So in order to do that, I need to be able to traverse the entire string. So I'm going to say for int I equals 0. The reason that I start at 0 is because the string indices start at 0. I is less than sample.length. And that is because the string, the last index would be 1 before the length of the string. So I'm using less than dot length. If I were to use less than or equal to, that would go one too far. And then I plus plus, meaning that I want to look at it one at a time. So a couple ways to pull out a single character. I'll show you the one way to do it, and then the way that the AP world would typically teach it, because they only really focus on substrings. So one way to get a character would be to say that char find is equal to sample dot char at, and I want to get the character at, and I'm going to utilize my counter. So the first time through, I want to get the character at spot 0, and then the next time through at spot 1, and the next time through at spot 2, and so on. So the thing that represents that, or the thing that counts from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3, etc., would be my little counter I. So I'm going to use an I as where I'm getting the character at. Another way to pull out a single character using substrings is I could just say, we'll just call this find2 is equal to sample dot substring, and then they would I comma I plus 1. Right, so I would get the substring of the string starting at I, ending at I plus 1. And remember, with substring, it doesn't take that. It only goes up to 1 less than that. So therefore, this is only grabbing one character at a time. So if you ever see an AP question, they're going to be using that second way. But if you're writing your own code, you're welcome to use either. One stored as a char, one stored as a string. If I want to count up, say, the E's, I would have to say if, and I'll use find2. If find2 dot equals E, right? And then we might want to make sure that we take care of capital letters as well. So we could use equals ignore case, or you could have capitalized or lowercase the whole string before you start, but we always want to think about that stuff. Then maybe we want to increment a counter, which I never created at the top. So I'll create a counter called count E's. I'm going to set that equal to 0. So if it is an E, then I'm going to say that count E's plus plus, my counter would increment when I find an E. And then when I'm all done, system.out.print, I'm going to just have it print count E's so that we can see that it did indeed go through the entire string, pull a character out, check to see if the character is an E, and if it is, then we go ahead and count it in. So when I run this, hopefully we're error free, and it's saying that there's 3 E's, and there are 1, 2, 3 E's in the string, so that would make sense. In the next example, I'm actually going to show you where a while loop could be utilized. And you could oftentimes use the for loop in the same place, but we're going to use our index of and a while loop. So let's go ahead and remove all the occurrences of the word cat in a string. So let's say I have string sample2 equals I love a cat more than a cat likes another cat. So I'm just trying to put in a few different examples of the word cat in here. So we want to go through and remove all those occurrences. So we're going to use a while loop on this one. So we're going to check to see while sample2 dot index of cat is not equal to 1. Or is not equal to -1, because -1 would indicate that cat is not part of that string. So in order to remove all the cats, we want to actually run this as long as there's another cat in the string to get. So first I'm going to find out where that is. So I'm going to create a variable called loc for location equals sample2 dot index of, and I'm looking for cat. So it's going to find for me in the string where cat is. And if I want to remove cat, then I'm going to have to basically take the string up until cat and then everything after cat and put that together. So we're going to say that sample2 is equal to, so I'm basically reforming my string here. Sample2 equals sample2 dot substring, and then we're going to start at 0 and we're going to go up to locate to loc, because loc is where we found cat. So I'm grabbing everything in the string right before cat starts. And because remember, with substring, it's not going to include loc. It's going to go right up to 1 before it. Plus, I'm going to get everything in the string after cat. So I'm using loc plus 3. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm using the length of cat. Now, if I really wanted to be good about it, I could say, I could have made cat its own variable and then use dot length, so then I could change it and look for any word, but we'll keep it simple using loc plus 3 there. So sample2, our string, is now going to be comprised of itself up until where we find cat plus itself after where we find cat, and we're going to continue to run this while loop as long as it finds new examples of the word cat. And then when I'm all done, I'm going to have it print sample2 to see that it did remove all the cats from there. And this would be a really common AP type question that they might ask you. So you can see that it says, I love A more than A likes another blank. So it's gotten rid of all the instances of the word cat. So there's a quick example of using a for loop and using a while loop with strings.